let's talk about tissue culture. And I know this is a propagation method that you've been evangelizing for quite some time. And with the emergence of hop latent viroid and other plant pathogens, it seems like now more than ever, tissue culture is top of mind for many growers. So let's dive into it. And let's talk about what tissue culture is and what advantages that it may have over the cloning that a lot of growers are doing now. So let's start with that. So give us a high level view of what is the tissue culture process, and we'll take it from there.
Oh, happy to. Ordinarily, tissue culture is going to be practiced in 4 stages. And incidentally, I might just take this opportunity to kind of tell everybody what tissue culture is, especially as it pertains to plants. And very simply, it is hydroponics with sugar. So we're using the same nutrients. We've got some special amino acids. Usually there may be hormones to give it direction. But what makes tissue culture special from the hydroponics that growers are already doing is going to be adding sugar to give that energy source directly to the plant. Sugar can be directly absorbed by the stem and surface tissues without roots to provide that energy. So we can make plants from pieces that would be too small to clone very fast themselves. However, because it's sugar, everything else wants to grow on it. And that's when you start seeing the scalpels and forceps and the HEPA filter and the laminar hoods and the pressure cookers. All those things are to be able to make the growing medium, clean the plant, handle it, and grow it so that the fungus and bacteria and those things don't get back onto it. But given that, tissue culture is fantastic for being able to make lots of brand new clones from a sterile source. Once the plant's clean and it's growing in the jar. So the 4 usual steps of tissue culture are going to be introduction, multiplication, rooting in culture, and then rooting back out of culture. But you probably already know that I've kind of made a little special version of that to make it easier for growers and to make it more effective for a lot of our producers.
Right. So at a completely high level, what we're talking about is using small pieces of an established plant to make new copies of a plant. So not too dissimilar from what you would do with cloning, just with much smaller pieces, right?
Yeah. And in fact, it's funny, I'm actually calling it tissue cloning because we're using tissue culture to clone. And that's kind of part of my the shortcut that I've made up. And that is to top veg plants, taking a 2 or 3 centimeter cutting off of the top so that the plants will branch, which is valuable for indoor growth especially. And this is primarily for our vertical growers, but works for anybody who is raising plants indoors in vegetative growth. But that's putting a tip cutting directly onto rooting medium, which is sort of a shortcut of the usual 4 stages.
Right.